It is Miss Nolan, and I am here back with you for another Monday, Mindful Monday. So, if you are watching this, you have probably seen the adults in your life going crazy. You have probably seen a lot of things happen. We just got done with election week, and it has been absolutely insane. And so, just like the rest of 2020, if that is where you are at, that is perfectly fine. It's normal. It is, it's hard for adults, and I know I've been saying that throughout these episodes. So it is definitely crazy, crazy times right now. So I am just here to let you know that we are one, we are here, we are with you, we feel for you, we stand with you, we support you, and we want to know what you are thinking, feeling, and all of that. The second thing, you can see I'm wearing blue because last week we talked about kids' grief. And so for the month of November, we are representing kids' grief by wearing blue. And last week was kind of heavy. So this week I wanted to come back and I still want to kind of touch base with kids' grief, but I kind of want to take a different approach to it because last week was just really deep. And then with the election, I want to respect your feelings. I want to respect your family's feelings, and I want to respect the Yeatman family and the staff and adults and all that. So I definitely want to make sure that I am thinking about everybody who might be watching this, everybody who will come across this, and just making sure I'm respecting boundaries, emotions, and feelings. Because I know for me, sometimes I feel not heard and I feel like my feelings don't matter. So I want to make sure that you all don't feel like that with this week's video. So November 19th is Kids Grief Month, and with that, like I kind of discussed last week, was we really have to take into consideration that what we're feeling, how we're acting, might be dealing with grief, right? And so I don't want to get too much into the grief talk today because, like I said, last week was heavy. But what I also came across was November is National Writing Month, and so this was a I guess you could call it like an internet fad that was created in 1999 where people try to write a 50,000 word manuscript from November 1st to November 30th, 31st, whatever November has. And a lot of authors will do like motivational speaking to really encourage people to write. And so I'm like, man, that's so cool because one, I was a grieving child, and two, I want to be an author. I've been saying since I was a kid that I want to write. And if you guys have listened to my first couple of videos when I first started out as the Mindfulness Monday self-love advocate, I talked about how I couldn't read. I really didn't like school. And so it was like, why do you want to be an author? And so one of the reasons I want to be an author was because writing allowed me to release things. And I use journals. And so at that age where I really wasn't confident in my writing, I could write without being judged. And then I would go back and I would read and I would realize like I have a story, and the story is on paper because I've documented so much stuff. And I got into blogging. Even as an adult, I journal every single day and I love it. I cannot picture my life without writing. And so I was like, okay, well, last week we talked about kids' grief. This week, let's talk about our stories. Because each and every one of us has a story. And with it being National Writers Month, what I want you to think about is, what is the title of your book? What is the title? And if you don't like book, because maybe you don't want to write a book, what is the title of your story? What is it? What is it that you bring to the table? Maybe you are grieving, but maybe that grief gave you a purpose. Maybe that grief gave you that story. Maybe you are very hurt and distraught right now, but maybe that pain can be turned into passion. Maybe you don't feel any of that. Maybe you're happy. Maybe, your life is just rainbows and blue skies. No, not a cloud in sight. Maybe. But what is the title of your story? What is it that you have to share with the world? And so for this week, as we start off this Mindful Monday, what I want you to really do is I want you to get a sticky note or a flashcard, or if y'all want, you can use your phone. And I want you to write down the title of your story. And maybe you have multiple titles, maybe you have subtitles, maybe you don't have a title yet, but you have bullet points. And I want you to take those ideas and I want you to put it back. And next week when we come back, I'm going to show you what I have, because the thing about it is, at this point in life, all of us are grieving. And this is what I call a grieving society. And if you go to my website, healingshegottfaith.com, and you read my blogs and you go back and listen to some of my other YouTube videos, you will hear I talk about a grieving society. So we're in this together. So if we are grieving, at least we know we're not doing that alone. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't feel alone, but at least we can take it to consideration. Well, maybe, just maybe, I'm not alone. I might still feel alone, but maybe I can, slowly but surely tell myself that I am not alone. Secondly, we all have a story that we have to offer. And I don't care if you're 12, 25, 55, 105, you have a story. And I'm here to tell you that your story is worthy to be heard, because what you bring to the table, somebody else can't bring. What you bring to this world, somebody else can't do. It's a reason and there's a purpose in why you're here. But one of the main things is, just because we have a purpose, just because we have passion, doesn't mean that we don't feel. And especially during these holiday times, maybe you are grieving and you're missing somebody. And so these times are harder to function as a human because you miss somebody, right? But we each have a story that we can come together and we can share stories and we can swap stories. Even if you never write a book, even if you don't write that 50,000 word manuscript by the end of November, you still have a story that is within you, and you still have a story that you're going to share with your classmates, with your teachers, with your mother and father, with your family members, with your friends. And as you grow older, you're going to start to realize that you and your friends share stories, swap stories, learn from each other's stories. So maybe it's not an actual book that you're writing, but maybe it's addressing the grief. Maybe it's having those conversations with those trusted adults in your life. Maybe it is going to school and figuring out a subject that you like. So maybe it's not a book per se, but maybe there's something in you that is stirring up, right? So maybe there is something. So what I want you to do this week, get a sticky note, get a flashcard, or use your phone, and I want you to write the title of your book. Okay, so that's step one. And then step two, I want you to give yourself 3 affirmations or positive bullet points that you will focus on so that you can create your story. And I want you to write what you would be confident if someone came in right now and said, I'm going to give you $20,000 to publish your book. That's how confident I want you to be when you write this. And you don't have to share it with anybody, but when I come back next week, I'm going to share with you what I have wrote. And I'm going to share with you my ideas. Because while we need to embrace the bad, we cannot forget the baby steps that we have taken to become a better person. And I know how dope you are, family. I know how talented you are. I watch the Facebook page, I see the posts, and you guys are the bomb, and I'm so happy to be part of this family. But I want you to know just as much as I know, just as much as Principal Griffin knows, just as much as the staff knows how dope you are. And I want you to be so proud of your story. So I know this week has probably been really hard and dark and just really confusing, just around school, around the election, around your family, around homework, around anything. But I want you to know that this week is about you, and we're going to get your stories out there. We're going to start embracing those stories because each of us have a story, and we're going to share the word. We're going to shock the world with it, right? So As always, family, love you the way you love the world. I will catch you next Monday. I'm so excited to be here with you all. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I'll catch you next Monday. Bye, family.